Konnichiwa, ninjas. It's me, Ninja Lens, and I just got out of Moana, and I have some straight out of the theater responses to it. Perhaps I'll talk about it when I'm not in the wind, but I like to actually walk out of the theater when I'm starting these out of the theater reviews, you know? Just kind of give some authenticity to it, because I have just walked out of the theater. I just got done watching the credits. I watched all the way through the credits. I've got some very potentially interesting thoughts to talk about this film. I'm going to start off by laying out the fact that yes, this is a Disney film. I can't help myself. I really am. I love 3D animation and 3D animated. I love 3D animated films. I think I've talked about like 3 or 4 of them in I think I've done like 6 film reviews, and like 4 of them, gotta unlock the car. I think 4 of them were 3D animated films. I love them, okay? I'm gonna be honest here. I love 3D animated films. So, we're in the car. We're on these studio lights here. Alright, so Moana. Where to start? How about we're gonna start with what the film is about. So the film was about... See, I got my flashlight. I went to go see a... If you can see the clock. I don't know. I went to go see a 9:30 showing because it's a Disney film. It just came out. I had a feeling that a bunch of kids were going to go see it, so I went to go see a nighttime review. It's midnight right now. Just getting out of the theater. Actually, that clock is an hour ahead, so maybe I gave you the wrong impression. It's not almost 1 a.m. It's almost midnight. Actually, I'm going to turn the car off. You're going to hear the rumbling over me. So, Moana, I don't know much about the history of, or the culture of the people, the culture that it's based off. Hey, look, it's my dolphin. Sorry. It fits. It fits. All right. All right. So I don't know much about the culture of the people that the culture that this movie is based off of. I think it's Polynesian. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I got my flashlight. Don't worry. So if it gets too dark, I just point it at myself. Way too bright. I don't know. I do this sometimes in my vlogs. So I think it's Polynesian culture. I think that's what I read. It looks very Hawaiian. I think maybe Hawaii is considered Polynesian. Please don't jump down my throat on this. I'm not a culture expert. In fact, I think I just came out of the film, and I'm probably going to do some research on the culture that this film is based off of. But right now, this is like a straight out of the film, straight out of the theater review, and I kind of want to talk about, I loved it. The first thing I want to say about this film is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I am so happy to have him finally be in a Disney animated film. I always felt like he's been a great, because I always felt like his voice was really, really good, and he didn't need to do a physical performance. He had a really emotive voice, and I think him I know he's done voice acting in the past. In fact, I'm pretty sure I could name like 3 things that he's been in. Like, he was in Transformers Prime. He was in an episode of Transformers Prime. I don't know how they got him. He was... Alright, maybe I can't name 3 things off the top of my head. Alright, well, I've always felt like he would be a really great Disney character. I thought he would be playing a villain, and from the start I was like, oh, he's probably playing like a villain or something like that. It turns out, this is going to be a spoiler review, right? I'm just going to list everything off. Spoiler warning. Potentially I'll do, if I feel like it, I'll do a non-spoiler thing on the main channel. But he turns out to be the hero, and he's not quite like he's not just the hero, because our main character is Moana, and she's our hero. He's kind of the self-aggrandizing, reluctant hero. He wants the praise, the accolade. And so, I don't know if someone's going to come and yell at me for sitting in my car talking about a children's movie. Have I ever reviewed anything that wasn't aimed at children? I mean, I saw 2 other films this year that weren't aimed at children, but I didn't want to review them. So, This light, I'm not sure if it's the best thing. It's so bright. I don't know, I'm gonna do this. It's like a spooky review. It's even more spooky when I do this. All right, I'm getting distracted by the light. So I felt like he played this reluctant, self-aggrandizing hero, and he was reluctant to be the hero, and I felt like that was really cool because I always feel that The Rock plays a really good villain. I think he's said it in the past too. He plays a good villain, but he also plays a really good, I don't know how else this, because he's been in a Disney, this is another Disney movie I remember. I think it's the football one. I can't remember the name of the film. Dylan, put the film on the thing. All right, thank you. He played this selfish, egotistical hero, and I think it was very similar here, although he wasn't as egotistical, obviously. I mean, he was very egotistical. He does things for the it's revealed that he does things for because he wants the praise from humans. He's a god he's a demigod who loves the praise of humans. And I never thought that was a negative characteristic in characters. I think most people like to be praised by other people. And I feel like that grounds people because they don't do as many bad things if they're looking for positive attention. Don't get me wrong, people do bad things in the name of, if I put it through the dolphin. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm putting my light through the dolphin. Maybe you guys can see it. I put my light through the dolphin. The dolphin. Okay, you can't see it. I'm sorry. It's somewhat related to the film, okay? So I like the egotistical desire for the praise of people aspect of him. The animation in this film is so good. I mean, it's a Disney film. I don't know what else you would expect, but I mean, it's so good. I don't know what, it was so good. All right. So let's point out a couple of things about the animation. The hair. This is probably the second time I think it was also Disney when they did Brave that they did curly hair. Most of the time, people are terrified of doing curly hair in any other way than it's just either than the Afro style, where they render out what is essentially a solid object, a circle, and they put some slight curls on the edge of the object so that it looks like it's hair, but really it's just a solid object. And that because curly hair is impossible to animate and model and rig. I've dabbled in animation, and I can speak for, this isn't, some people think it's like a race thing, but it's not. It's just curly hair is impossible to animate. I have curly hair, and I'm never going to model a curly-haired character, ever. It's just not gonna, I mean, maybe I will. Maybe if I get really good, but I mean, that would require me getting good at something. Oh, I got myself. So, the animation, I think all the characters have this really, they're beautifully designed characters. I really like them. I think one thing I'd like to say is that they're really shiny. They're really glistening. And I think that's kind of weird. It's a little weird. I know this is a standard for Disney that characters tend to be shiny because they're more cartoony and they have brighter colors on their skin. But it was weird because I don't know exactly why. They were really shiny. It was a little weird. I think maybe their skin could have been a little less reflective. But other than that, I think, oh god, it's beautifully, just visually, the film is beautiful. I love the water animation is so amazing. Oh god, the water design, the contrast of the colors, because they're out at sea so much, and I've always loved the idea of being out at sea. I think it's a really picturesque idea. It's so beautiful. They somehow managed to get nice contrasting colors on the sea while they were out at sea. Really easy way to get really good contrasting colors is to not shoot out at sea. And obviously they create this thing, so they didn't shoot, but out at sea, it's blue on blue on blue on blue. So it's kind of hard to get contrasting and beautiful colors. So people, there's a lot of the islands definitely are more beautiful. Cause there's this green contrasting with the blue and there's, but they found a way to do it. And I can't wait to rewatch this film and maybe show you guys exactly what I mean. But I'm doing this straight out of the theater, so I paint you a picture with words. But it was I think that they did a really good job of making a very beautiful scene. Got some soda pop with just water. Obviously, there was the fact that she is favored by the ocean. They didn't describe it as like the god or the goddess of ocean. It's just the ocean is a person or an entity in and of itself. That's really interesting in my book, because the world is gods. There's gods and goddesses. Maui, played by The Rock, is a demigod. He's the I guess he's like Polynesian Hercules. I don't know. I think most people are familiar with Greek history. He's a demigod, not full god essentially. He's still human essentially, but with godlike powers. Hopefully the police aren't coming to get me because I saw a children's film. We have I don't want to spoil the very ending, because I feel there is a twist. There's a very interesting police. They're not coming for me. There's this really there's a very interesting ending, and I'm not going to spoil that. I'm going to talk about everything in the film in depth pretty much, but no end spoilers, all right? Moana's got to bring a little green gem that is the heart. Oh god, I forgot the goddess's name. You guys didn't eat me alive for that. I forgot the goddess. I'm right out of the theater. They said it. Well, I think I should just spoil it, right? No, I'm not going to. This video's gone on long enough anyways. Honestly, I loved it. It was well designed. I wish I would have talked about The Rock's performance in What Can I Say? It's Okay. You're welcome. I thought that was amazing. I've been waiting to have The Rock do a Disney song for ages. I knew he had a good voice. I knew it would be good. It was so good. It was very character building. It was fun. It was amazing. I liked the movie. Okay, good movie. I think it was really interesting because it's kind of hard to. I don't want to seem mean, but Maui is designed after a less preferable facial configuration that I think tends to be. I mean, it happens in Africa. I've got friends from Africa that have this but it's the flat nose, and it's the flat, really wide nose facial configuration, and Maui has this. And I have some friends who look like Maui, and they brought. I think it was really interesting that they brought up that his parents looked at him and they said, "Oh, gross." That's part of his backstory, because he has this is it Polynesian? It is inherited from people of many Hawaiians look like that. That sounds a little racist, but I mean, some people look like that, and it's not favorable. And I thought it was really interesting to have a character that has a very well defined facial configuration that people have adamantly brought up that they find unattractive, and he was the hero of the film, not the villain. I thought he was the villain by the way he looked, because Disney, no offense, I love you, but you tend to be really obvious that your villains are evil, ugly people, and your good guys are beautiful. And Maui is a good guy, and he's not pretty, I guess. I mean, he's a stoic hero, of course. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't look at him and say, hey, you know what, we want to put this on the front of our magazine. So I thought that was really interesting. The one thing I found, I'm gonna say one negative thing. I'm gonna go back to gushing about the film. The one thing I would like to say is Moana's father. The voice didn't really feel like it fit. He had this really gravelly English accent. I don't know who voiced him. Probably put that there if you'd like. But he didn't do a bad job. I think he did a good job. It just didn't fit his model, his character, you know? It's like I don't know exactly how to describe it. I can't think of a perfect example, but it didn't quite fit. It was a good job, and he wasn't in it. The parents in a Disney film definitely aren't in. They didn't die though. They didn't. Her parents didn't die. Somebody did die. Her grandma died, but her parents didn't die. That was a little weird. Disney, weird. What are you doing? You're supposed to kill the parents, okay? I felt it was a little weird that his voice contrasted, but I liked how the parents didn't die. Actually, I liked how her parents didn't just die, and I liked how the father wasn't built up as this jerk. You know, he's being restrictive, but early on we get a pinch into a little hint into his backstory that says, you know, there's a reason why he's being restrictive on you. And I think that's a good lesson many children could have. There's a good reason your parents are being restrictive to you. Maybe it's rational, maybe it's irrational. And his was definitely rational and emotional. I think that was really good. There was a musical by the voice actor, Jeremy. Can you put it there for me? He was also the voice of Fart from Rick and Morty. He sang the very popular Moon Men song from Rick and Morty. I think he did a great job. Shining. I didn't remember very well. Sorry. So, I mean, I can't think of anything else that I disliked, other than his voice maybe didn't fit properly. And honestly, I felt like it was a little... a lot of people complain that there's too much exposition and people don't usually talk that way in films where they just like, I was born on this day and this is my backstory and everything like this. But I felt like they might have gone a little too far to the other direction. Like, too often I see people going into situations where, I mean, honestly, I would ask, what's this? Why are they doing this? Like, her father didn't tell that we weren't told why her father really didn't want her to go outside the reef until she's like the age she is in the movie. Like, we start the film off as her as an infant, and then we go into the age she is for the rest of the movie, which is like, I'm guessing 16, 17, 18. I mean, she looks like an adult. And then her father tells her, and then her mother tells her why her father didn't want to do it. And we never got even why won't you let me go out on the reef, out past the reef? And he's like, no, it's not your business. They just never asked. And then someone just told them. I felt like we could have probably gotten a little better exposition. And now back to the positive, back to gushing about the film. I think I covered everything, haven't I? I felt it was really interesting to have. I felt Maui was a great character. I felt the main character was a great character. These two, they had a really interesting dynamic, and I felt Maui's little tattoos talked to him. They were his conscience. Constantly, we have a friend of the main male character that says, "Be nice to the girl, okay?" Kind of thing like that. And I felt that was really interesting to have it be his tattoo. And they couldn't speak. They were just like, It was just like the animal companion. But all in all, great film. I recommend you go see it. Just came into theaters. I just wanted to go see it. All right. But for now, I must return to the shadows of the internet. But on the flash of the camera, I will return to the light. Ninja out!